the restroom. Restrooms are located at the top of the hillside and at the bottom of the amphitheater, audience left. Graduates, once again, it is time to form two processional lines up the hillside. Thank you again.
Tripod. Tripod or a live stream and recording.
Very nice. And then what is this? Is this
Battery pack because recording for an hour and a half, sometimes this will go down to very low battery capacity. Also, her parents are still overseas. So
yes,
they get a chance to see it too.
Well, it's being live streamed, I believe, but probably not overseas.
Different perspectives.
Yeah.
I see the cameras up there, but it's just different angle. And then
Right, and you can focus on your. Is it your daughter?
little cousin.
Or your cousin? Yeah, yeah. Your mom?
My mom, my dad.
Yeah, she explained that it's her brother's daughter. So I wasn't sure if you were. Yeah. A grandson.
And where do you folks live?
Please,
Where do you live?
in Stowe, Massachusetts.
Oh,
So
Massachusetts.
we're not far from. Well, we are far. Well, not as far as Taiwan or is that. Where do you live?
Well, I'm back and forth between Long Island, New York, and then also Atlanta, Georgia. And they're from Atlanta.
Right.
So we flew here last night.
Yeah, his girlfriend, Matt's girlfriend is from Long Island, way down near the Hamptons. I don't know exactly the name of the town, but it's way down.
Well, Hamptons and Saratoga Springs have similarities. Both are great vacation spots.
Oh, it's beautiful up here. Just trying to see where they're sitting. You should have watched my little grandson run back.
Oh, yeah.
His uncle keeps telling him to come down and ask us for money, this or that. I told him, go back and ask Uncle Glenn for money. The graduates are beginning to line up. to this, you know. Good. I don't want to knock this thing.
Eliana. Phoenix. Need a blanket? There's the deed on that. Uncle Marty didn't sign it.
Excuse me, I don't want to bump your thing. I'm gonna lift this to what?
Oh, sure,
I don't
fine.
want to bump it.
He's a good trooper. I'm gonna watch him. We did a mitzvah, right? Letting her come and take pictures with babies. She's feeling good. Did you see the photo? Right. I'm sure you're gonna have to say something one day. They only do that with the president.
She went back to work.
Yeah.
Get me today. Grandmother.
It's not like you walk in. It's like art history and there's another one.
Oh, not here. Integrated both put me in the middle. Got the 1 year. I want to go take a picture of Jillian online. I'm here. He's a. I'm glasses in there, don't.
I was looking at that from over there. It seems that is right here.
考虑如果在家里这个因为你这种如果可能没有怎么放映的话，那但是我觉得多在也很大，有边两边这样子要放一边。
家还在需要，你可以喂养的大种边再多一点。这边还是两边跑，应该主要的。你怎么觉得旁边？ Under like settings. And the bathroom, it's like it's sort of- The cool down is good, yeah, dinner, that's what I'm like, I'm not saying, or not the rest of it, we can talk. Like.
Bonnie, Bonnie. Oh, it's. They're lying. Screen. We can see the person. We can see what is. Green person. Take. They're gonna fight them in with Irish and Scottish tunes. In other words, they're not doing conference with the states. Or is that just basically one fire? I don't remember what we marched into. To what? Yeah. Well, not here. Say it. I wanted to. Say it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lost little boy about 5 years old. He lost their shirt, brown pants, and white sequins. Please leave your child at the information desk. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, and we have a lost little boy about 5 years old. He lost that shirt, brown pants, and white sequins. Please leave him at the information desk. Thank you.
Kelly. They took the ribbon. What? Somebody took the ribbon.
Yes, they took it. And it was your fault.
Oh, they're gonna. Why are you sitting in the graduate? We lived in Phoenix. After visiting. First thing we were outside. My son.
Then it judges. Yes.
Yeah, okay, Jim, there's stairs or an elevator. Let's see, again, there's a moving block. No, just go. Outside. Oh, we were at the start of my.
Instead of going outside. Yeah, not like
I saw that, but I was really fun.
I give you sure enough. Yes, not bad.
厕所还好，没有太远。叶小熊，
觉得你前面这些他人要把它删掉，开始正常。
刚才问了一下啊，说他们到1点或1点半，所以3个小时。因为飞到那么久，因为他1点开始是 reception 茶点。
啊，这个他10点40开始。
哦，好像。
OK，
前面的
啊，已经讲一次了。这就是一切的重点。我们刚才讲的，我们开车乘客也带他过去，因为他这里叫不到车子过去，所以他明天房间出来，通常让他进去，他前面几次都已经住过那个嘛，都是11点左右。
到纽约转机。
说不定。这样才需要了。Hey Rosemary, good I be watching.
这边呢，
他说两线，两线。
也比完了在外面放的。
不是那你在看，家里不是。 Thanks for the like. The ceremony should be starting anytime. They said 10:40 a.m. ceremonies begin. 谢谢点赞。刚才看到有人按个爱心，他说10:40开始毕业典礼。在荧幕上。对啊，你看这样没有穿戴的话，真的是，那你看每一个人都有穿戴。
一定要穿，学校可不会啊。
不错吧？
Welcome, class of 2024. For most of you all, this is your first in-person commencement since like middle school. So wonderful to see everyone here for your commencement ceremony, the families, the graduates, the guests. Thank you so much for being here. This is a moment of great importance to all of us gathered here today, all those who have worked so hard throughout these 4 years. I'm so pleased that we are gathered together today, and I welcome you all to this wonderful event. To start us off, I'm pleased to introduce Rob Resnick, class of '88, and member of the Skidmore Board of Trustees. Rob. I invite you all to be seated. Thank you, President Connor. So who's ready to graduate? Give some noise there. First, we have just a little business to do. Warm welcome to President Connor, class of 2024, their families, faculty, distinguished guests, and friends. I'm Rob Resnick, class of '88, president of the Alumni Association and a member of the Board of Trustees. I have the great honor of speaking today on behalf of the Board of Trustees, especially our incredible chair, John Ackenbaum, class of '77. John is home recuperating from surgery. John, feel quickly, brother. Over the past few days, the board has conducted its annual May meeting, during which we discuss critical issues and vote on some of our most important business. Just the other day, we voted to confer degrees to all of you in the graduating class. We recognize We recognized your hard work and dedication over the past 4 years and even longer to get here, and what today means to you and your families. You and your families have sacrificed much, and I'm here to tell you it was worth it. In a time when society seems to accept, and in fact even celebrate, willful ignorance, you leave here now with the incredible benefits of a Skidmore education. You learned with and from this incredible faculty sitting behind me, who work hard to help you learn how to think, how to approach the serious challenges, and how to be a citizen of the world. You learn from each other in class, athletics, clubs, government, work, and other meaningful activities. You found advisors, mentors, and friends across the campus. Perhaps you would agree with me that we all develop significantly both in and out of the classroom in almost everything we do. These meaningful relationships you built here last a lifetime, as do the skills, knowledge, and confidence with which you leave here. Throughout my professional career, when I was able to accomplish something significant and folks would ask me how I figured out how to do it, first I was disappointed that might have been a surprise to them, but I said in all sincerity that I went to Skidmore College. No joke, that's what I would say. And this is what we do. Skidmore friends can solve any problem, can achieve any challenge. And of course, in addition to that, I know I was always seen walking around with my Skidmore College coffee mug at all opportunities. And I bet some of you are going to feel the same way and walk around with yours. Life is full of challenges and failures, as well as opportunities and successes. You are wholly equipped to deal with the challenges of this complex world. Be the solutions, not the problems. Be the wisdom and maturity, not the pettiness and squalor. Be the inspiration to go forward, not the excuse to give up. Be the source of needed change, not the stagnation afraid to move forward. Be the one who loses with honor and dignity, rather than someone who wins through cheat and deceit. Be the light, not the dark. Be Skidmore.
Commencement is not an ending, but a wonderful new beginning. You leave here to embark on the next chapter of your journey. However, you do so not alone, but equipped with two powerful assets: the entirety of your Skidmore education experience and the Skidmore Alumni Network. This new beginning transforms relationships, such as faculty becoming friends. I know I still speak with several of my former faculty professionals. Gotta be careful with words these days. Classmates will become lifelong friends who you can see at regional Skidmore events, affinity programming, and of course, reunions. And you can relive the cherished memories you formed here on campus and celebrate your connection to Skidmore. Many of you will volunteer for the college, and I encourage you to do so. You'll provide meaningful support, and you will have the chance to sit on stage like we do. As Skidmore graduates, you're equipped to accomplish anything you can dream of. And I have no doubt there are people sitting out there among you who will cure a terrible disease, write a book that changes lives, create a movie that entertains us all, lead a nation, maybe even this one. Where's Nathaniel? And engage in pivotal public service or be the greatest parent society has known. Whatever you choose to do and wherever you choose to go, we have alums, 40,000 strong, across the country and around the globe, all of whom want to meet you and are ready to help you. That's the power of today. You are all now part of this extraordinary network. You are now Skidmore alums. Do not hesitate to reach out, to seek advice, to make connections, to socialize, and to share memories. We are all Skidmore. Celebrate this day. Thank your families, friends, faculty, staff, and all of the people who supported you. When you walk across the stage today, I will be standing at the end of the stage to present you with a gift from the Alumni Association, officially welcoming you as our newest members. Use that invitation to attend events, volunteer, stay connected, come back to campus, tell us what you're doing, share your triumphs and happy moments, but also your setbacks. We are all Skidmore. Congratulations to the graduates, their families, and friends.
Thank you so much. Class of 2024, what a ride it has been. In the summer of 2020, Barb and I arrived when you did. In the midst of the COVID pandemic, so much uncertainty, anxiety, challenge. That was an awful time in so many ways. Hotel quarantines, tests, masks, Zoom classes, social distancing, all the opposite of what your college experience should be. But look what we accomplished together. We brought nearly everyone back to campus, even that first fall semester. We offered over half our classes in person. And as the year rolled on, more opportunities, more activities. We got through it about as well as any school in the land and much better than most. And when people ask me how we did it, I give them a simple answer. We took care of each other. And that I have learned is the Skidmore way. People often ask me, what are Skidmore students like? And I smile and I say, man, there are as many kinds of Skidmore students as there are Skidmore students. Every single one of you is blessedly unique. And there is a trait you all share, something that is fundamental to Skidmore: kindness. There is a kindness to you and a kindness to our college that I have frankly not seen at any other school in my time. That kindness is what sustained us through the pandemic, and it continues to sustain us today. This past year, your long-awaited senior year. It has been one of the most challenging on college campuses in generations. The awful tragedy unfolding in the Middle East has rocked campuses and divided communities. At Skidmore, we have leaned in to this conflict in all its complexity. We've talked, we've learned, we've demonstrated, we've challenged, we've argued, we've prayed. Have we been perfect? Nope. Could we have done better? Of course. But look at us today. You all have kept our campus safe. We have not had the violence that we see on other campuses. We continue to talk across difference. We try to understand, not to divide, on many causes and issues. And I will say to all of our students what I've said all year long: you have been engaged in legitimate political expression, and don't let anybody tell you differently. I give our students so much credit this year. You are impassioned, you are committed, you are eager to change this world for the better, which I have long said is what a Skidmore education is all about. And you have continued to think about the impact of your words and expressions on your fellow students. I have seen consideration, kindness about the student at your shoulder. At the end of the day, it's not the policies or the rules or the disciplines that will carry us through. It's the caring, the empathy, and the kindness. And to all of you, on behalf of our college, I am grateful. I'm also grateful to the parents, the families, the loved ones who have stood by you these 4 years and more, who have supported, listened, encouraged, at times pushed, and always loved. Please join me in applause for all your loved ones who helped you get and I have enormous gratitude for all those who have taught you at Skidmore. I'm fond of saying that everyone at Skidmore is a teacher. Coaches, administrators, campus safety, facilities, dining staff, they all teach you. But the life's blood of a great college is its faculty, who dedicate their brilliance, their learning, and their commitment to teaching you, the undergraduates of this college. And think for a moment about what your faculty faced in the spring of 2020, as they transformed everything they knew into new methods of teaching and advising and mentoring and guiding, and how they kept the Skidmore education going with whatever challenges they too were facing during the pandemic. Please help me with a thunderous applause for the Skidmore faculty. And on a very personal note, like you, today I complete my 4th year at Skidmore College. Feel like a graduating senior, though I've got a lot more I'm excited to do here at Skidmore in the years to come. And I feel a kinship with this senior class that will never go away. So I've done something I've never done before. In all the schools I've attended and worked at, I got myself a Skidmore class ring. I wear today for the first time and will always wear. And of course, every class is special to me. Every class is special. But when people look closely, they'll see on this ring, 2024. And let's think about this world you all are about to enter. It's a bit rough out there right now. Ukraine, South China Sea, the Middle East, Somalia, Myanmar, Haiti, global warming, climate change, artificial intelligence, so much swift and sudden change. You all were born into a world that hadn't yet heard of the iPhone or Facebook, to say nothing of Yik Yak, Discord, TikTok, and God only knows what's on the horizon. And the question I pose to you is the question people pose to me. Are you ready? Are you ready? And I tell you, I have no fear of this future. Every generation faces its unique challenges, and to each, their challenges seem like the worst ones humanity has ever faced. Warfare, famine, tyranny, rapid change. That's been the reality since at least the Renaissance, and we find our way. And I do think the Skidmore education and the values it supports will stand you in good stead. I've already emphasized our fundamental kindness. Nothing is more important to meet the challenges of the coming days than kindness. That's what Dostoevsky says at the end of his great novel, The Brothers Karamazov. Let us first of all be kind. Amen, I say. And kindness is not softness. It's not weakness, just the opposite. Cruelty, tyranny, oppression, bullying, that's the way of softness. That's the way of fear. Kindness, fairness, charity, love, that's the hard way, and that's the way of strength. We send you out into the world to live those values and more, to exercise your democratic citizenship, to take responsibility for your communities, to respect the rights of self-determination, of equality for all, of the freedom to express one's beliefs, and especially the right to vote and choose who will represent us and what that representation will mean. Now, we've heard those principles so often they can become mere words. Don't let them. Live them, preach them, insist upon them, take responsibility for them. That's how we change the world for the better. And as long as we do that, I have no fear for the future. Now, I'm an English professor, so we will end with the words of a poet. And since tomorrow I depart with 24 Skidmore students for a 2-week travel seminar to Ireland, we'll close with an Irish poet, the Nobel laureate Seamus Heaney, who passed away when you all were just 9 or 10 years old. Heaney wrote about simple rural life, about intimacy and love and community. He also wrote about civil war, sacrifice, ritual violence, execution, and the terrors that can rend a world apart. He was raised in Derry in Northern Ireland and knew the division of civil war as well as anyone. In 1991, when the Northern Ireland conflict seemed most impossible to resolve, he wrote a strange work, a translation from ancient Greek into English of a play by Sophocles that he titled The Cure at Troy. The play is set during the Trojan War, the archetype of a world at war. And Heaney had the Northern Ireland conflict in mind, of course, but also the conflict of apartheid in South Africa. And the play was his effort to think through the pathway to peace during a time of apparently insoluble conflict. Its most famous lines have been oft-quoted, and today is a good time to read them once again. He writes, "History says, don't hope on this side of the grave. But then, once in a lifetime, the longed-for tidal wave of justice can rise up, and hope and history can rhyme." Northern Ireland today is often pointed to as an example of how centuries of bloody conflict can be overcome. Peace can be achieved. And that's what I leave you all with today. Be not afraid. There is hope, and you are that hope. Yes, I tell you that hope and history can indeed rhyme, and you will write that poem for our future. Class of 2024, God bless you and thank you. Now, it is the privilege of a great liberal arts college to acknowledge the extraordinary contributions of certain individuals by awarding to them honorary degrees. And I invite Professor Casey Schofield, Luz Helms Miranda, and Dorothy Mosby to approach the lectern.
Dr. Luz Towns Miranda, psychologist, educator, leader, and advocate. You completed your undergraduate training in psychology and Puerto Rican studies at Rutgers University, your doctoral training in clinical psychology at New York University, and your clinical residency at the Jewish Board of Children and Family Services in New York City. Following licensure, you built a lively clinical practice, which has long maintained a focus on patients navigating trauma histories and the assessment and treatment of children whose lives are embedded in the foster care system. Throughout your career, you have taken on a dizzying array of clinical, educational, and service roles across the greater New York City area. This work has included, but is certainly not limited to, working as an assistant clinical professor at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine and at the CUNY Graduate School of Psychology, supervising pre-doctoral interns at the Montefiore Medical Center, as well as a range of roles at Bronx Lebanon Hospital, including as an administrator of services to the elderly and coordinating child and adolescent services. You've served as a clinician for firefighters in the New York City Fire Department after 9/11. You've worked as a clinician for the Sex Abuse Survivors Fund, the Hispanic Federation of New York, and the Coalition for Hispanic Families. You are a founding member and past president of the Association of Hispanic Mental Health Professionals, and have served in consulting roles for both the Acacia Network in the Bronx and the Community Association for Progressive Dominicans, both of whom with which you have done important work developing mental health and substance use recovery programming. Your service roles span across trustee positions with the American Theater Wing and the Gilder Lehrman Institute of American History, as well as serving on the National Board of Directors of the Planned Parenthood Action Fund. Across all of this work, your commitment to both serving and advocating for victims of trauma and supporting children who exist in especially vulnerable positions is apparent and reflects the values and commitment to health and well-being that are central to Skidmore College. President Connor, it is my great privilege to present Dr. Luz Towns Miranda with the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
Luz Towns Miranda, advocate, teacher, and consultant. By virtue of the authority of the state of New York, vested by the regents and the trustees of Skidmore College, and by them delegated to me, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa, and declare you fully entitled to all of the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Dean Mosby will invest you with the hood that symbolizes your degree, and it is my pleasure and honor to present you with this Skidmore diploma. I now ask Professor Lisa Jackson Chavetta, Dean Dorothy Mosby, and Luis A. Miranda Jr. to join me at the lectern.
activist, philanthropist, author, community leader, champion of underrepresented and marginalized voices. You were born in Vega Alta, Puerto Rico. From a young age, you watched your parents serve their neighbors and communities. You learned the power of giving, especially of oneself. In 1974, you moved to New York to pursue your PhD in psychology at NYU. You also undertook an education in race and politics in America, connecting with like-minded young people, feeding on the stories of the young lords, and working with community nonprofits. Your investment in Puerto Rican politics grew to encompass activism, action, and community building in New York and beyond. In the 1980s, you held key positions in government administrations, including leading the Office of Hispanic Affairs for Mayor Edward I. Koch. You worked tirelessly for political representation, quality healthcare, and education reform for Latino and minority communities. You are a powerful force for democratic leadership. With your consulting firm, the Miram Group, you have managed the campaigns of Hillary Clinton, Charles Schumer, Kirsten Gillibrand, and Attorney General Letitia James. In 1990, you became the founding president of the Hispanic Federation. When Hurricane Maria devastated Puerto Rico in 2017, the Hispanic Federation was a first responder, sending support to rebuild communities, services, and infrastructure. The arts, music, theater, film, remain central in your life. You developed the Miranda Family Fellowship Program to support emerging artists and arts administrators from underrepresented communities, empowering the next generation to challenge and change the U.S. performing arts industries. You chair the board of the Northern Manhattan Arts Alliance and the Public Theater. You are leading the development of the People's Theater, Centro Cultural Inmigrante in Northern Manhattan. Set to open in 2026, the People's Theater will be an arts and cultural hub, a corazón of el barrio. From the 6 streets of Vega Alta to the heights of activism and philanthropy throughout the United States and its territories, you remain a force for change, equity, and community. President Connor, it is my great privilege to present Luis A. Miranda Jr. for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
Luis A. Miranda Jr., activist, advisor, and author, by virtue of the authority of the state of New York, vested by the regents and the trustees of Skidmore College and by them delegated to me, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, and declare you fully entitled to all of the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Dean Mosby will invest you with the hood that symbolizes your degree, and it is my pleasure and honor to present you with the Skidmore Diploma. Luis A. Miranda Jr. and Bruce Towns Miranda, I now invite you both to address our class of 2024.
Trustees, faculty, administrators, families, and above all, Skidmore College graduates. Congratulations on your achievements. You worked hard to be here, and today is a day you get one concrete thing to mark your progress.
Today is also a day that your loved ones can say, everything we did for you, all the sacrifices that we made, all the work we put in, hooray, it's paying off.
Luz and I are working very hard not to give you a boring speech. So we thought that what we do is to tell you what we think we would have wanted to hear if we were sitting on your side. We want to give you some insight of our collective 143 years of wisdom. Of course, she brings more to the equation.
The biggest point that I want to convey to you today, though, which is something I have always told our children, Lucecita, Manuel, and Miguel, who is one of you up here and is now in the audience, as well as our 6 grandchildren, is that everything is grist for the mill. Every experience you have, whether sad, infuriating, confusing, wonderful, you name it, it is something that can help you grow, can help you understand others. If you are an artist like Manuel, you take every experience and use it to empathize with different points of view when you create. When I was a senior in college, I became pregnant. It was the spring of 1973, and Roe v. Wade had just been decided, meaning that I had a choice when it came to whether or not I would continue the pregnancy. I went to my local Planned Parenthood, considered my options, and decided to have the child without the father's support. I am so grateful I had the choice. I hadn't planned the pregnancy. The pregnancy was part of my journey that led me to where I am today. But I am not only grateful for her, I am grateful to have had that experience, to have faced a huge challenge head on and come out so much happier and fuller on the other side. I used it as my grist in my own personal mill. Being a young single mother made me more empathic, which has served me well in my psychology practice. It gave me insight into adversity and was a building block to become the person that I am today.
And it's important to hear that humans have a choice, and she chose having a child. We want to make sure you young women out there continue to have that choice. You have that choice. It takes me to a major point to get across. It's a request. I'm not going with requests. It's more of an urging and exhortation. I implore you to learn the system, to use the systems, to improve the system. Believe in the power of your vote and your activism to raise your voice. Your skills to speak out against injustice, to create change where you see it is needed, and to uplift the underrepresented people in our communities. Luz and I were first dating. That was 46 years ago. We went to protest together. Soon after we were married, we took action to organize our community for more schools. We had Sita and Emmanuel register people to vote and got our neighbors to sign petitions to put progressive candidates on the ballot. Our children joined us at kitchen tables where we planned new community-based organizations, including the Hispanic Federation. Now, with the commercial success of Hamilton and other work by Emmanuel, we have the ability to use this megaphone and invest resources in many of the grassroots organizations which we worked for 30 and 40 years ago. perhaps using one of the talents you have to improve your communities. What it these talents that make you unique and indispensable in your neighborhood. Back to our first thing. I tend to digress and sort of meander, but I eventually get to the point. We actually, in our first day, were protesting the University of California versus the Bakke decision. We drove down to DC and raised our voices in support of affirmative action. This was 1978, and we were the product of an affirmative action program at NYU. We had been accepted into the psychology program, where the director had admitted 5 Black students, 5 Latinos, and 10 white students.
Luis would have been accepted without the quota, but I would not have. He had a 4.0. I went to a school that was a pass-fail institution. There was no GPA, and there was no way NYU would have let me in but for that program. That goes to show you, Luis left psychology and never finished his PhD. I finished and have been in clinical psychology for over 40 years, treating families, children, and women in Washington Heights and the Bronx.
It can mean very little. And that leads me to the third piece of advice. Life is a winding road. You may think you have a clear idea of what you want to do in your life, or perhaps you don't. It doesn't matter. You have no idea what's in store for you. Neither of us have any idea what our lives will turn out. I certainly didn't think that my family would be in charge. Puerto Rican family will be in charge of Hamilton's legacy.
Unlike Luis, though, I had planned to go to college, have children, earn a doctorate in psychology, and work as a clinical psychologist. I have done exactly that. Got my doctorate in 1985 and have worked with foster care children in a therapeutic nursery, taught family practice residents. I've worked as a supervisor for local community mental health clinics for more than 25 years. Working with children and having children of my own have been incredibly fulfilling, exactly as I planned. And I even told Luis on our first date, I've been thinking about how we're going to spend the rest of our lives together.
Young women out there, you will be in charge. She has been for 46 years. So she had her entire universe planned. My life's work has been just as fulfilling, though I had no idea what I was going to do. And it's nothing like I had planned. But perhaps one of the most wonderful curves on our road brought us to skateboard. In 2000, when both Sita, my daughter, and Emmanuel were out of the house, and we thought we were finally alone for some peace and quiet time, Miguel came to our lives. Certainly never thought that we would have a baby in the house again. And last year, 22 years later, he graduated on this very stage from skateboarding.
Because we couldn't have planned for our lives. We did prepare for our lives, we lived our values and worked hard and fought hard with whatever energy and skills we had to make a better way for the community around us.
And looking back, it makes sense. All the moments, all the building blocks fit together in a beautiful puzzle. We have had an amazing blended family. We have started profits, businesses that have impacted thousands of people.
And I think the most fun we have is with the Miranda Family Fellows, right, Luis?
Absolutely. We have the privilege of supporting over 100 BIPOC emerging artists, several of whom will be working across the state starting next year. When Emmanuel found commercial success, we knew we wanted to keep the door to the entertainment industry open to others like him, and maybe even pry a few more doors open too.
And having the ability is another thing we never would have predicted 40 years ago.
So, where you have it, graduating, everything is grist for the mill. Use your voice for your community, and it's a winding road. Work hard so that you all can be in the room where it happens.
You build your life one day at a time, and if you're really lucky, you will also have a supportive partner alongside you to do it with.
Luis and Miss Miranda, thank you so much for all of your support of Skidmore and for being here with us today. One of my favorite Skidmore commencement traditions is for the senior class to select a member of the faculty to address them at their commencement. This selection, in my mind, is one of the highest honors that the college can bestow. Today, I am honored and so pleased to introduce our colleague, Murad Yalibs, Assistant Professor of History and Historian of the Modern Middle East. Professor Yalibs.
That's a tough act to follow. Tough and beautiful. If it's okay with you, I'm gonna go solo. There's nobody to join me here. Okay, here we go. It's a huge honor to stand before you today. As you can imagine, under normal times, being selected as the faculty speaker for commencement would weigh heavily on me. But these aren't normal times. And I stand before you as a not yet tenured faculty member, as well as a historian of the modern Middle East, a region that has captivated the world's attention and that simultaneously seems far, as well as frighteningly close. I've wrestled a great deal with the topic of my speech. Should I speak about Israel-Palestine? College protests? Is Jalen Brunson possibly the greatest Knicks guard ever? Unfortunately, I will not weigh in on this last question. And not because of last night's game. But for the record, let it be known that the inimitable John Starks will forever remain dearest to my heart. After many candid conversations with colleagues, friends, and students, I decided to reflect on the intensely fragile and fluid moment that we find ourselves in as members of a global community. A community which the 13th century poet from Shiraz, Sa'di, reminded his Persian readers was intimately connected. Sa'di writes, quote, "The children of Adam are members of a whole, in creation of one essence and soul. Beni Adam a'zoy yekdigarand ke dar afarinesh ze yek gawharand." I should note that Sa'di uses an Arabic term to describe mankind, Beni Adam, that Hebrew speakers also use, Bnei Adam. Class of 2024, in addition to being Beni Adam, Bnei Adam, you are also members of an incredibly resilient generation that has navigated a number of seemingly insurmountable obstacles and disturbing developments, including, but not limited to, the great uncertainty surrounding COVID, the alarming climate crisis, intense political polarization, the fragility of democratic institutions and values, as well as flagrant violations of international law. Your willingness to shape conversations about each of these local and global challenges is not surprising. Part of the reason you chose Skidmore, besides our powerhouse ultimate Frisbee team, and shout out to members of the team, is the institution's commitment to cultivating an environment infused with creative thought inside and outside the classroom. So, it was only natural that you sought to harness your own creative toolkit as you learned about the gut-wrenching violence on and since October 7th. During the past 2 semesters, there have been teach-ins, protests, lectures, classes, as well as vigils organized about Israel-Palestine on campus. These events have produced a number of questions, such as how do we cultivate perspectives about the seemingly impossible political moment? How do we grieve and mourn the suffering of Israelis and Palestinians? How do we nurture hope in a future that simultaneously rejects anti-Semitism, anti-Palestinianism, and Islamophobia? I'm not going to pretend that these are easy questions, nor that Skidmore hasn't experienced division. We have witnessed unrecognized grief turn into grievance. But we have also observed members of our community, in typical Skidmore fashion, express intense levels of empathy and love, as well as cultivate radical visions of the region and the world that stress that everyone's safety is intertwined. Class of 2024, I have witnessed how your own perspectives, and I want to emphasize their plurality about the present moment, have also shaped conversations about the past in the classroom. What is the meaning of a nation and national community? How have individuals and institutions included and excluded people from larger collectives? Rather than assuming that the boundaries separating communities remain static, I have heard you ask what events, processes, and discursive shifts have contributed to their hardening. These are excellent historical questions that emerge out of distinctly contemporary concerns. Now, the idea that our current moment might shape our investigation of the past might be deeply unsettling to some. Isn't the role of the historian, after all, to pursue the objective inquiry of the past, to uncover the truth? In which case, shouldn't the historian strive to cast aside their present anxieties, interests, and assumptions? I beg to differ. You see, I am a historian who believes that the investigation of the past serves as a conversation between the historian and the historical archive, in which the former constructs a narrative about the past through questions that are formed in the present. In this case, the moment in which a historian lives indelibly shapes the questions that they ask. Seen in this light, the discipline of history is a radically creative endeavor, in pursuit of multiple truths. Muslim mystics of the past, also known as Sufis, remind us that, quote, the paths of truths are as multiple as the breadths of creation, end quote. طرائق الحقائق بعدد أنفاس الخلائق. Insightful in English, its original Arabic offers an even deeper philosophical reflection on the world, rendering the truth, al-haq, which also serves as a divine attribute in the plural, the truths, al-haqa'iq. What does it mean for us to accept that the past and present are filled with multiple truths? Does an emphasis on the construction of historical narratives mean that we have embraced the idea that facts are irrelevant? These are questions that AI is not equipped to answer, at least not thoughtfully. However, they are conversations that you, as graduates of a very special liberal arts college, are well positioned to have. I have seen such conversations develop in the classroom as students carefully and diligently engage in a deep analysis of the Middle East during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Photographs of Muslims, Christians, and Jews unfurling banners and chanting revolutionary slogans in Arabic, Armenian, Greek, Ladino, and Turkish revealed an immense amount of hope and promise in building a more inclusive vision of the empire. However, memoirs also reveal the hardening of communal boundaries, the spread of vengeful rhetoric, and an unprecedented level of state-led violence against specific communities. I don't attempt to resolve these contradictions in the classroom or in my own research. My book project examines the creation of what many Ottoman Turkish speakers refer to as the Ottoman world of sports, Osmanlı sporları, at the intersection of these developments. My project is motivated by a commitment to writing a history of intercommunality between Muslims, Christians, and Jews in Istanbul prior to the outbreak of the First World War. There is no shortage of historical narratives in Turkey today about the emergence of modern sports in the late empire. For many people, my dear father included, predominantly Ottoman Turkish clubs, namely Galatasaray, Beşiktaş, and Fenerbahçe, dominated the scene. I should note that my father is a very devoted Beşiktaş supporter, and that these organizations serve as the founders of sports in Turkey. Now, this is a legitimate historical narrative. However, a far less inclusive one of the period, Istanbul's lived imperial space, and its world of sports. You see, expanding the historical archive reveals that Ottoman Armenian sportsmen from the Armenian Artavast athletic club scored blistering goals on the pitch. Ottoman Greek members of the Greek Hercules Gymnastics Association set records at annual track and field tournaments. And Ottoman Jewish card-holding members of the Maccabi Jewish Sports Society performed great athletic feats at Hanukkah celebrations in the same city. What happens when we bring these different sources, archives, actors, institutions, and events together in a single frame? I propose that we are able to write a different narrative about the past and uncover a different set of truths about the collective fashioning of popular culture at the end of empire. And, like all historical investigations, this project cannot and should not be disentangled from my own contemporary concerns and critiques, which are rooted in building a more inclusive vision of community, Beni Adam and B'nai Adam, which stresses that everyone's safety is intertwined. Rest assured, I'm not trying to convert you to the noble discipline of history. At least not all of you. However, I'm asking you what narrative about the past and the present you are interested in constructing as we wade through these incredibly troubled waters. Which individuals and communities are you including and excluding in your frame? As you wrestle with these questions and cultivate your own views through study, internal reflection, and the production of creative thought, remember to take time to unplug from your devices. Grab a coffee with friends and converse with people who maintain different viewpoints and who come from different backgrounds and generations. Your resilience and perspectives that you have cultivated these past 4 years at Skidmore put you in a unique position to shape today's and tomorrow's conversation. Thank you and congratulations.
现在这个人还是抗议，说啊，你为什么要抗议的？跟他讲，讲完了，东东西西。
Ladies, thank you so much for your thoughtful words. And I'm now delighted to introduce to you your senior class president, Nikki Grijalva.
Good morning, families, friends, Skidmore faculty, administration, the Board of Trustees, and our distinguished honorary degree recipients and guests. Please join me in congratulating the class of 2024. Today may be a day of mixed emotions. Today may be a day of us having mixed emotions. We are all living as completely different than the people we were when we first came to campus. These past 4 years could have been fun, inspiring, challenging, and or stressful. While we have had different experiences at Skidmore, I hope most of us leave with the experience of the community that we found, explored, built, lost, and rebuilt. When we were admitted to Skidmore, we may have been excited about the idea of a fresh new start, a brand new chapter, or for some of us, being the first in our family to go to college. We were thrilled about exploring our majors, finding new friends, and thinking if we wanted to join a club or find new hobbies. However, COVID hit, and we soon felt lost, helpless, and unsure of what will come next. Although we were restricted, we didn't let it stop us from being the authors of our story. We are about to enter a chapter in our lives where we think we are ready to conquer the world. I may not know how our futures will look, but I do know that it will be a chapter full of surprises. We will be tested throughout our lives. We will have curveballs thrown at us. Some challenges we will see coming, and others will be unexpected, much like what we experienced during COVID. We will be changing and evolving, figuring out who we are and aspire to be, just like we did during these past 4 years at Skidmore. Those who know me know I am a big fan of Taylor Swift. A song of hers I listen to frequently is Miracle. This song explores the constant need to become different versions of ourselves, to fit in and dim our light. I relate to this song because as a first-generation student, there is an expectation to become great, set the curves for others coming after us, and become a great example for the people in our family. It can be exhausting. Although our experiences may not be the same, the Skidmore community we created has allowed us to not dim our lights and encourage us to become the best versions of ourselves. Keep shining brightly as Mirabel's do, because each of you has a gift, and the world will accept you for who you are. You should have the power to decide what you want to do in your life. You decide what path you will take next. If there's one thing I have grown more comfortable doing so, is to advocate for myself. I want you all to give yourself a safe place for you to speak your voice, your truth, and your opinions. As a huge Swiftie, in case you couldn't tell from the first reference, I hope you can find comfort in this song. You're on your own, kid, like I did. This song captures what it feels like to root for yourself and face challenges that you never thought you could face. There will be people who will doubt you. There will be people who will make fun of you for pursuing something that doesn't seem worthwhile, because you will be doing something risky. Do it anyway, take the risk. As Taylor Swift says, Everything you lose is a step you take. So make the friendship bracelets. Take the moment and taste it. You've got no reason to be afraid. Before I end, I would like to acknowledge the people who have supported, encouraged, and uplifted me to be the person I am today over the last 4 years. Thank you to the Office of Communications and Marketing, especially Megan for being like a big sister to me, Katie and Julia for being my Skidmore moms and always looking out for me. You have all been such a wonderful group of people to work with these past few years. Thank you to Gabby and Tiffany from the Office of Admissions for always believing and checking in on me. Thank you, Dean Batista, for your wisdom and mentorship. I would like to thank Carlos and Megan Navarro for being such amazing, wonderful advisors and for being my Skidmore parents. I will miss you both greatly. I don't know what I would have done without them. Thank you, Emily, for all you have done for the interclass council, the senior class council, and for being someone I can always rely on. Lastly, this will be in Spanish for my parents. Les quiero dar las gracias a mi papá y mi mamá por todo lo que han hecho por mí y los sacrificios que han hecho para que yo estoy aquí hoy. Ya sé que no fue fácil dejarme ir lejos de la casa para mis estudios, pero todo lo que he hecho y todo lo que voy a hacer es para ustedes y para mis hermanos. Los quiero mucho. Now to the class of 2024. Now to the class of 2024, you should all be immensely proud of yourselves as you walk across the stage in a couple of minutes. Today is worth celebrating. You're all worth celebrating. It has been an honor being your class president. Congratulations, class.
Thank you. Thank you for all your service to your class. And now invite Dorothy Mosby, Dean of the Faculty and Vice President of Academic Affairs, to present the candidates for Bachelor of Arts.
Thank you, President Connor. Y'all ready? Yeah. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts please rise? President Connor, I present to you the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts.
By virtue of the authority of the state of New York, vested by the regents and the trustees of Skidmore College and by them delegated to me, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts and declare you fully entitled to all of the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Graduates, you may move your tassels to the right.
Invite all the candidates for Bachelor of Arts to sit. And I ask the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science to please rise. I present to you the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science.
State of New York, vested by the regents and the trustees of Skidmore College and by them delegated to me, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Science and declare you fully entitled to all of the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Graduates, please move your tassels from the right to the left. All right, I ask all graduates to be seated and to wait to be called by rows. To wait to be called by row to join me on the stage. Now, as you come on stage, I am at your disposal to congratulate you personally for your accomplishment. I'm ready and eager for the traditional handshake, for the high five, for the hug, the shimmy, whatever. In the bounds of decorum. Whatever feels right to you, our dear graduates. Let's get the show on the road.
它这个布拉斯的话是7这样的方面，是，因为应该是 alphabet 的话，
Vicky Grijalva. Erica Rezi Beish. Madison Barasa. Brianna Marie Verney. Cadence Bradner Trout. Braylon C. Tebow. Seth Spittle. Emilka Angela Jackson. Margaret Mel Bexcall. Gillian Melissa Siegfried. Fiona Promisel. Julia Canastraro. Lonnie Michelle Hostetter Habib. Ariana Tucker. Adriana Quibush. Julia Demetra Forster. Nicole Okalpi. Anesi Mokokiwa. Brian Sullivan Harris. Caleb David Perry. John Carlsoy Egan. Reza Arnott.
Twinkle. Darun Ariapol. Laura Ann Hoffman. Beck Hagopian. Grace Margaret Barron. Serenity Alvin Chapel. Elizabeth Nicole Brack. Lydia Cross Coleman. Emily Taylor Seltzer. Malin Zuka. Lucrezia Julia Zitiki. Maxwell Charles Weigel. Melanie Theo Evans. Johnny Mulcahy. Caroline Rogers. Tyler Stoniker. Ken Wilder Cohen. John Patrick Harrington. Noah Katz. Nicholas William Causey. Mason Joseph Beecher. Logan Arthur Leitner. Jacob James Franchot. Patrick Lachlan Smith. Peter Guidotti. Haley Nicole Cronin. August D. Bamford. Emma Shaw. Ida Meinhoff. Sophia Mehta. Emma L. Campanella. Leah French. Emma Mangold. Brendan Grover. Max Chasso. Corby McLennan Ellison. Reeves Strawbridge. Lola Ness Hannah Bessie. Chloe Elizabeth Tomlinson. Zoe Lillian Russell. Hannah Cornell McCumber. Corinne Young. Elizabeth Catherine Tyler. Rochwan Wong. Justin Dablonowski. Matthew Gordon Pinkney. Carly Wheeler Hessler. John W. Sen. Charlie Murphy. Jack Gannon Fitzpatrick. Sophia Rose Whitmire. Michael Angelo Castellanos. Sarah Stevens Fulcom. Jillian George Parker. Molly Catherine Perrine. Kate Sims. Brandon J. Riley. Charlie McFadden.
Ethan Mackenzie Jones.
Nate Hill. Corey W. Adams. Hansen. Stephen Beneda Dixon. David Kofi Smith. Sawyer Zerman. Aaliyah Jasmine Peralta. Emilius Paranelas. And Olivia Fidelia Alvarez. Matt Ewan. Luis Paco. Benji Bloom. Zoe Madeline Devaney. Naomi Epstein. Bella Paige Brickman. Celine Melissa Posler. Divine Perez. Madison Faith Mason. Aiden Flynn. Luke Stewart Iceland. Ayaga Matapai. Murphy Alcantara. Alejandro Piamba. Leo I. Hara Jr. And Malika Yurika Ikuto. Sarah S. Belkaran. Isabella Friedman. Brady C. Quinlan. Marissa Pinkowski. Jean K. Choi. Monica Ferguson. Knox A. McGuire. Lily May John Ertzberger. Victoria Rose Calabrese. Elizabeth B. Sandy. Emma Kate Jennison. Elena Sheridan Doyle. Ava S. Piper. Alice Audrey Power. Sylvie Mogai. Ari Daniela Wood. Lily Ross. Ashley Nicole Lupia. Nate Clears. Jessica Sabrin Noble. Mason Kate Morgan. Sydney Chase. Chloe Lynn McGonigal. Thea Elizabeth Wilcox. Daniela Rose Knott. Alexa Diane Morales. Ladies Yahaira Palacios. Nicole Oletu. Avery Wendell. Violas Guevara. Juan Pablo Borrego Melissa Saralde. Tika Tuchunda. Johnny Chakraborty. Virginia Brown. Jordan Gonzalez. Alicia Kathleen Foyle. Sarah Lebow. Raina Lalani. Ava Gabrielle Young. Annabelle Hayden Aber. Olivia Swing. Anna Haven Stripney. April Marie Thorpe. Anna Sophia Sparks. Thomas Finn. Troy B. Daniels. Kate Brandon. Scarlett Naples. Eric Max Weintraub. Williamson J. Carlos Freeman. Eric Zuckerman. Nolan Michael. Bert Lewis Logan. Paul Robert Booth. April Matthew Scambatera. William King. Paul Robinson. Wendy Gomez. Shirley Jin. King Joe. Master Wu. Patrick Edwards Taylor. Xunyuan Xu. Aaron Joshua Katz. Cameron Paul Pedamonte. Ethan David Alton. Owen Arnold Fitzhugh. Paul Richard Pedamonte. Lane Kevin Hines. Jordan Epstein. John Marcos Sanford. Kristen Tracy. Amir Mateen Hassan. Zachary Lehigh. Jaden William Toronto. Dawson Andrew Aiken. Josephine Blanco. Ella Harris. Catherine Grace Spalding. Olivia Grace Cassandra. Will Ellen Goodness. May Davis McKinley. Natalie Haley Marr. Gabriella Modesti. Clara Elena Strum. Nathaniel B. Lowell. May W. Broughton. Caitlin Eva Price. Willa Faye Kling. Melissa Renee Stiles. PJ Muller. Thomas J. Michael. Callie J. Kyo. Jack Davis. Owen Xavier Price. Jerome Hudson. Tyler D. Hurley. Jennifer Blair Stein. Kate Blandino. Emma Kumari Ridge. Elena Becker. Lionel Saunders. Maggie McCurdy. Seven Dave Aho. Maggie Britton. Caitlin R. Wade. Michelle Tawana Sawayama. Phoebe Marwell. Maisha Kondakar. Daisy Oxal Kram. Pei Wen Tsai. Alina Rain Lawrence. Jasmine Isabel Reyes. Haley Victoria Vasquez. Emily Christina Cleveland. Quincy Kathleen Blue. Wilson Archibald. Joseph Raphael Wilkanowski. Isabella Williams. Sadie Star Westland. Alexandra Fulham. Ida Maria Arslan. Trevor Fallon. Abed Mandy. Jing-Peng Kun. Christopher Rodriguez. Haley Dinote. Casey Cueda. Francesca Casillas. Andres Terran Gorkas. Evan November Cavalier. Parker Mackenzie Cleary. Allison Yvette Blaze. Isabel Rose Blaze. Sky Thompson. Haley R. Dugan. Johanna Sophie Steensma. Hannah Jane Diversian. Malika Sawadona. Debbie Reyes. Justice Justina Rica. Lajun Cecilio Dominic. Scott Flintstone. Caitlin Cataracci. Sullivan Ravan. Ellie Jackson on Hood. Caleb Frank. Sandra Murphy. Leah M. O'Neill. Annabelle Yeh. Samuel Lubar. Bessie Elizabeth Noel. Gabrielle Shea Fixner. Winston Mark Brennan. Renee